Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Ricardo and I'm Bujo Boosted. Today we're gonna talk about time. Being able to efficiently track time-related information is extremely important within your system. That's why I have decided to create a guide on time tracking within a bullet journal. For this video, I have written everything down into my Bujo Boosted community journal. This way you'll be able to listen to my voice but to read the information as well. I've decided to take a scientific approach to this subject, so we're gonna start off with some definitions, then we'll move on to different sections, and for each section I'm gonna give you a catalog of the commonly used bullet journal spreads. Then finally we're gonna do a quick recap of everything we went through in this course. So guys, with no further ado, let's just dive into today's video. This is my Bujo Boosted community journal. For those of you who are interested, this is a Moleskine A5 dock grid journal and it's a soft cover journal. For the coloring, I'm using some Staedtler Triplus fine liner, some koi coloring brushes, and some of these mild liners. For the writing, I'm using my Unipin fine liner and it's a 0.3. For today's time tracking guide, we're gonna first start with some definitions. And for all the different times, I've created a spread with some more definitions here and the commonly used sections. I've drawn some mini spreads with colors to help you visualize better the spreads. And at the end, we're gonna do a recap of it. To make things a bit easier for you, I've used these mild liners for highlighting different information. The orange mild liner is for definition only. The red mild liners is for keywords. This purple mild liners is for very important things that you should focus on. The green is for the headers of all the different sections so that you know that we are moving into a new section. And these two are just for making things pretty because yeah, I love pretty things. First of all, let's start with time. Tracking time is very important for your organizational system. Your bullet journal is a tool that's supposed to increase your productivity. So it is important to have in your bullet journal some spreads, some sections that let you log all of the different time information within seconds. Also, you should be able to easily access that information when you need it. But before we start tracking time, we need to define what time is. When you're using your system, you can either track the past and the future. Now, when using the bullet journaling system, your future events can either be close future events or far future events. As you can see here, I gave you some examples. And of course, the notions of past and future are all relative to the moment when you do use your journal. So for example, if today is Friday and you started for 2 hours last Tuesday, that would be a past event. But if you have an appointment for next Tuesday, that's a close future event. And your mom's birthday, which will occur in a couple of months, that's a far future event. Also, when talking about time-related information, it's very important to focus on the nature of that information. A time-related information can either be a duration or a moment. To better understand the difference between these notions, I'll give you an example here. Let's consider the event summer holiday. Here you have 3 pieces of information. The duration, which is 2 months, and the dates here, which are moments. When tracking time in your system, it's very important to think about what you want to track and what you need to track, because each type of information requires a specific tracker. Generally speaking, if you ask yourself whether this piece of time information lasts or not, if the answer is yes, then it's a duration. If the answer is no, that's a moment. To recap, here we have another example. A 3-hour study session next Thursday morning, it's a close future because it's occurring next Thursday, and you have the duration here, 3 hours, and the moment, which is the date. Now we are ready to dive into our sections. We're gonna start with close future, then we'll move on to far future and past. Close future time information is everything that you want or need to track that will occur within 1 month. This is what works the best for me, but of course you can have a longer or shorter span of time, so adjust it to your needs. When tracking close future events, you want to both take into account moments and durations. And usually you need to have a little bit of space because you want to add tasks that you need to do or more detailed information because it's something that will occur soon. For example, if you have a meeting next week, you probably need to prepare for it, you have some tasks that you want to do. While if your meeting is in 3 months, what you need to know is just when the meeting is, basically. Now I'm gonna show you some commonly used sections. Here for my close future part, I have the daily letter, also known as time letter, the Spiraldex, and the monthly calendar. If you're not new to bullet journaling, you've seen these time letters everywhere. The time letter focuses on duration. You usually use it in your daily spreads, and you use different colors for different tasks that you do during the day. That's why this is perfect for pre-planning. Here you have the horizontal view, but you can have the vertical view as well. What I like about the vertical view is that you can easily add tasks next to it. So I'd say that this is the best view if you need to pre-plan a lot of tasks as well. As you can see, you divide the letter into different sections, then each color corresponds to a certain project, class, and next to it you add all of the tasks. Now, since this is a close future spread, you color the letter before the day, not after. Of course, you could color it afterwards as well, but in that case, that would be considered as a past time section, and we'll get back to it in a moment. To me, Sunday is the perfect day for setting up your daily letters, and if you're more interested about how I pre-plan for my whole week, there is a video up on my channel about it. Our next section is the Spiraldex. The Spiraldex works just like the time letter. You focus on duration and you use color coding, and it's ideal if you're more of a visual person, because here you have the clock and you can see at a glance when you have time and what you're doing when, because we're used to see the time into this clock format. The hard thing about the Spiraldex is that it can be a bit complicated to set up when you're not used to it, but nowadays there are journals that come with the Spiraldex system. I can't recall it right now, but I'm gonna add that in the description box down below. You can use your Spiraldex in your daily, or you can set up a Spiraldex-ish weekly spread. I showed that in my 7 weekly spread ideas video, so if you haven't already, go check that video out. Next, we have the monthly calendar. As I said, to me the close future events are those that fall within 1 month from my present time. My monthly calendar is one of the most useful spreads within my bullet journal. Here we focus more on moments rather than duration, and it's ideal for having a global view. Now, while the other 2 sections work really well for color coding, to me the monthly calendar works really well with bullets. If you zoom a bit, as you can see here, I have the calendar view with the bullets. Here I have the key for the bullets, and here I add the description of what each bullet refers to. This way you don't need colors. If you don't feel like bringing colors with you, you can just add the bullet in the corresponding case for each day, and down here you add the type of information, the date, and all of the other information that you need. To me, the monthly calendar is the spread that works to me, the monthly calendar is the spread that works the best for me for my close future events, because I can log very easily when things occur, the description, because I can log very easily and very fast when things occur in the description, and I just don't get lost with my information. Next, we move on to the far future. For this section, I'm going to show you the future log in different layouts, the Alistair method, and the Calendex. Far future time information is everything that you want or need to track that will occur after a month or more from your present time. Generally speaking, far future time information will not have a huge impact on your present. That's why you don't necessarily need to log as many details like the location or the tasks. So you want to focus more on moments, on when the thing occur, rather than what you're gonna do during that time. The very first spread we're gonna look at is the future log. This is part of the original bullet journal setup. It's very easy to set up, but the problem with this spread is that you do not have time in chronological order. Here I have recreated the traditional Writer's Carol layout. You divide the 2 pages into different sections and you just log the information according to the month. However, the most commonly used future log is the one that combines the traditional view plus the mini calendar. Here you have the 2-page spread, and as you can see, you add the mini calendars. And if we focus on the monthly calendar, as you can see, you can use color coding as symbols for better logging your time information. And of course, you can play around with the calendars. You can make your future log horizontal, vertical, circular, whatever. Moving on, we have the Alastair method for future logging. This is very efficient in terms of space, and in general, you do not have a fear of running out of space. The problem with this kind of spread is that if you do have a lot of things to log in, you may end up not having enough space, and that's a problem with this spread. Here with the Alastair method, you do not have that fear because you don't have a specific area of your page only for 1 month. Rather, you just log the information as it comes. So as you can see, you have the months here. Each line corresponds to one piece of information. So here you have, for example, January, that's the month. Here you have the date, the 25th, and the description of the event. I've used the Alastair method for a while, and this works really, really well. The problem is that you do not have information in chronological order with this spread. To avoid this problem, the Calendex by Eddie Hope is what you're looking for. The Calendex is the hardest spread to set up, and it's kind of hard to get used to it. However, it gives you a better overview, and you have a clearer view of when things are, and you have the info in chronological order. If you have a look at the spread, you have the days here in this column here, the months up here, and the spread is divided into weeks. So this is 1 week. Here, this is another week, this is another week. That's why I added Monday and Sunday, so that you know, like, you have a reference. And you add some boxes with a number. So these numbers correspond to the pages in your journal where the actual information is. Now, this is the tricky part. The description of the event is not logged in the spread. If we have a look at March, for example, we know that on the 3rd of March, there are 2 things coming up, but we just don't know what those things are. To give you a better example, we'll focus on the 3rd of February. As you can see here, we have 42. That means that we need to flip to page 42 to see what the information is. So as we go to page 42 here, we know that we have a doctor appointment on the 3rd of February. So generally speaking, what's great about this Calendex is that you have a better overview of the months coming up. You never run out of space because basically you log your time information throughout your journal. However, it can be kind of tiring to always flip back to the pages. Next, we move on to past time information. For this section, I'm going to show you the past time version of the time ladder and the time log. The past time information is all of the information that's already occurred and that you decide in your present that you actively want to recall that in order to track it. Now be careful, all of your future spreads, of course, will eventually contain past information. However, what matters is the time when you do log things into your bullet journal. If you log something that's already occurred, it's a past time information. If you log something that will occur, that's a future information. Generally speaking, past time trackers focus more on duration, and they are mostly used to know how long or for how many hours you did a specific task. And you don't use them for planning because the event has already occurred. So as I said, the time ladder can both be used for close future events and for past events. Usually they are combined, and this time ladder is perfect for your daily review. As you can see here, I have combined the 2 sections. Up, I have the close future time ladder. That's what you use for pre-planning. That's what you color in before the day. And this is the past time ladder. You color in this ladder after the day occurred. And this way you can see the differences between what you had planned for the day and what you actually did. Now be careful, because even though these 2 are identical, they serve very different purposes. So the close future ladder is used for pre-planning. You color it in before the day so you make sure that you're ready for the day. But the past time ladder is mainly used for daily review, so that you know what you got done and how productive you were during that day. Next, we have the time log. The time log is a spread that you use in order to know how you spent your time. You can use it weekly or monthly. So basically what you do is that you track on every single day how many hours you spend doing a certain activity. Here on this column I have the days of the month. Each color corresponds to a different activity, and I've added a small number for how many hours I actually spent on that activity. Of course, what you can do is that you can use the time letters in order to track the hours, then move that information into your weekly or monthly time log, and out of it, you'll know how many hours you spend doing that activity. Of course, then you can turn this into a pie chart to have a better view. Generally speaking, the negative point of the time log is that it requires a lot of discipline. Because if you have a very busy life, it may be hard to track every day how many hours you spend doing a certain activity. But overall, it's a very great spread if you can keep up with it. So now it's finally time to do a recap. Here you have all of the spreads. Here you have the time, so close future, far future, and past. And here the nature, so moment or duration. I hope that this will help you decide which spread you want to use. So if you want to track a close future events, I recommend these 3. If you're looking for a far future section, you have this 4 here, and for the past you have these 2 here, and so on. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in a comment below what you thought about today's video. I hope that you found this video useful, helpful, and instructional. Let me know down below if you want me to do more of these guides, if you find them useful, and of course, I wish you a great weekend, and I'll see you soon in my next video next week. Bye!